Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really plunging into the action.
Yeah, we are.
We've got a deep dive on the new game, Doom, The Dark Ages. And our source for this, it's straight from someone who's actually played it. A listener sent in their personal playthrough notes.
That's right, yeah. Played on the Xbox Series X.
Okay.
And they spent a good amount of time with it, too. Roughly 12 and a half hours.
Wow, okay.
Spread over about a month. So they really, lived with it for a bit.
Right. So our mission here basically is to cut through the hype, the noise, whatever, and just understand what makes this new Doom tick.
Exactly. Through the eyes of someone who just went through it firsthand.
Okay, so let's unpack that. First thing, it's positioned as a prequel to the recent Doom games, right?
Yeah.
Does that mean you need to have played, like, Doom 2016 or Eternal? What did our source find there?
Good question. And actually a key point from their notes was, no, you absolutely don't.
Oh, okay.
They confirmed you can just jump right in, which is great. Honestly, sounds like it respects your time.
Gets you straight to the action.
Pretty much, yeah. Straight into the demon slaying.
Excellent. So the core concept, that's still there. Doomslayer versus demon.
Oh, absolutely. But what really, really stood out in their notes was the feel of the gameplay.
The feel. How so?
Well, they described it as just incredibly satisfying, almost addictive, this loop of shooting, dodging, using this new shield saw thing.
Right, the shield saw.
Yeah, and they said it's not just a gimmick either. You actually need to master the parry mechanic that comes with it. And then closing in for those, finishing moves.
And they were playing on ultra-violence difficulty, too. That sounds intense.
It does. But interestingly, they felt it was challenging, yeah, but not really unfair.
Okay.
They even made a comparison, which I found fascinating. For players who like that sort of challenge, they compared the satisfaction to overcoming stuff in like a Souls-like game.
Whoa, Doom and Souls-like. That's unexpected. So that shield parry must be pretty critical then.
Seems like it, yeah. Especially for managing that higher difficulty, it sounds like it's a core part of the flow.
Okay, interesting. So beyond that moment-to-moment combat, what about the game structure? How do they feel as they progress through those 12 hours?
Well, the notes mention the game does a pretty good job, especially early and mid-game, of introducing new weapons, new enemies, keeps things feeling fresh.
Right. Keeps you on your toes.
Exactly. And then by the later stages, they found you're leaning more on the skills and upgrades you've already picked up. You can kind of really lean into the play style you've built by then.
And I saw something about the levels maybe being a bit more open, less just pure corridors.
Yeah, they did note that. You can apparently take little detours, find collectibles, and those tough fights, they consistently reward you with upgrades, which is good.
Nice.
Oh, and they also highlighted the special levels, like riding a dragon.
A dragon. In Doom, apparently. And piloting a giant robot. They said these were welcome breaks, even if they were kind of short.
Huh. Cool little palate cleansers. Yeah. And, of course, the metal soundtrack. Essential, they said. Absolutely core to the whole experience.
Can't have Doom without the metal, right?
You really can't. But it wasn't all praise.
Ah, okay. The critiques. What stood out there?
The biggest one, and this seemed pretty significant to them, was the glory kills.
The finishing moves. What about them?
According to the source, they felt, well, scaled back significantly in terms of variety.
Scaled back.
Right.
How? Like less brutal.
Less varied, mostly. They mentioned it was often just like basic punches or stomps on the smaller enemies compared to, the really intricate tearing apart and chainsaw stuff from the previous games.
Okay, I can see that.
And they felt this actually reduced that refreshing feeling you get, that real satisfaction from taking down even the regular demons. They saw that as a core part of Doom's appeal.
Wow. Yeah, that feels like a big deal. Messing with the glory kills is messing with Doom, kind of.
That seemed to be their take, yeah. It directly impacted that core loop for them.
Okay. Anything else? What about the bosses?
Yeah, the bosses, they felt the overall variety wasn't super high. And apparently some enemies introduced as bosses later show up as just like regular tough enemies.
Oh, that can sometimes lessen the impact, yeah.
Exactly. They felt it kind of lessened their specialness. They wished there were maybe more unique big boss fights scattered through the middle of the game instead of just being mostly at the start and the very end.
Gotcha. So, okay, this deep dive, based on this one player's pretty thorough experience, it sounds like Doom, The Dark Ages definitely hits those high notes for the series.
For sure. Especially that core combat loop.
Yeah.
Intense, satisfying. They even called out the Ravager weapon specifically, said it was a pure shot of dopamine.
I love that.
But yeah, it also brings in some, let's say, interesting shifts, like those changes to the glory kills we talked about.
And the boss structure.
And the boss structure, right.
So here's maybe something for you listening to think about.
Yeah.
You've got this franchise, Doom, built on this very specific kind of visceral, almost ridiculously over-the-top action, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much do subtle tweaks, like changing the variety of the finishing moves or how bosses are presented, how much does that change the overall feel? Even if the shooting and dodging, the moment-to-moment stuff, is still absolutely top tier.
Yeah, it's a good question. Does that classic Doom feel live only in that loop of killing? Or is it also in the specific way you kill?
Right.
The flair.
Exactly. Something to chew on.